Everyone knows creatine builds muscle, but there's a second job it's been doing this whole time that nobody told you about, and it has nothing to do with the gym. Turns out the same powder in your gym bag might be doing something interesting to your memory. And if you're someone who doesn't sleep enough, you're going to want to hear this. But before we get into that, here's how creatine actually works, because it makes everything else make sense. Your body runs on one fuel, ATP. Think of it like a battery. When your muscles are working hard, that battery drains fast. ATP loses a piece of itself and becomes ADP, basically a dead battery. Now here's where creatine comes in. It stores something called phosphocreatine, which instantly donates what ADP needs to become ATP again. Dead battery, recharged. That's it. That's why it works so well in the gym. Now, here's the part nobody talks about. Your brain runs on the exact same system. When you're thinking hard, trying to remember something, or running on 3 hours of sleep, your brain is draining ATP just like a muscle mid-set. And creatine is there too, doing the same job. And look, it's no secret that creatine works. This isn't some overhyped supplement with 3 studies behind it. It's one of the most researched supplements in existence. Stronger power output, better performance, faster recovery. The evidence on the physical side is about as solid as it gets. So when researchers started looking at what it might be doing to the brain, they weren't starting from zero. They already knew the mechanism worked. They just wanted to know how far it went. So here's what the data actually shows. A 2024 meta-analysis, which is essentially a study of studies, pulled together 16 randomized controlled trials and 492 participants, and asked whether creatine actually does anything for the brain. The strongest finding was memory. Across study after study, people taking creatine consistently performed better on memory tasks than those who didn't. Short-term, long-term, didn't seem to matter much. The effect showed up either way. But memory wasn't the only thing that moved. Processing speed improved too, meaning people's brains were working faster, not just remembering more. And reaction time got quicker as well. Interestingly, these effects were more pronounced in women than in men. Researchers aren't entirely sure why yet. Now, to be fair, it didn't do everything. Planning, complex decision-making, executive function, no significant effect there. So it's not turning anyone into a chess grandmaster. But faster thinking and better memory from something you're probably already taking? That's worth paying attention to. Now here's the part I mentioned at the beginning. Sleep deprivation does to your brain exactly what intense exercise does to your muscles. It drains your energy reserves. And researchers started asking whether creatine could buffer that. 2 studies put people through 24 and 36 hours of no sleep and found that creatine helped, but only when the brain was genuinely exhausted and only on the most demanding cognitive tasks. Simple recall? No effect. But complex working memory at 24 to 36 hours in? The creatine group held up significantly better. Then, in 2024, a study found something that surprised everyone. A single dose of around 0.35 grams per kilogram of body weight, taken before a bad night, partially protected the brain's energy system and improved memory and processing speed within hours. The assumption was always that creatine needs weeks to accumulate in the brain. Apparently not, if the brain is stressed enough. So where does all of this leave us? Creatine isn't a nootropic. It's not going to turn you into a different person cognitively. But the evidence is pointing somewhere interesting, that the same 3 to 5 grams you're already taking for the gym may be quietly doing something for your brain too. Memory, processing speed, and cognitive resilience under sleep deprivation all showed meaningful improvements across multiple studies. Is the research definitive? Not yet. Sample sizes are still relatively small, and scientists are still figuring out the exact mechanisms. But for a supplement this safe, this affordable, and this well-researched on the physical side, the cognitive case is building. If you want to dig deeper, the studies we covered today are worth reading yourself. Links are in the description. And if you're already taking creatine, well, you might already be ahead of the curve without even knowing it.